Welcome to week 9 of my 2026 contest prep. I'm out here with my doggies. We're getting our little walk in. I want to wish everybody a happy new year. I hope you had an absolutely fabulous holiday season. I hope you celebrated and ate lots of good things and spent time with your families. And I hope we have the best 2026, all of us. So happy new year. Thanks for tuning in. I filmed a bunch of different stuff for this week's vlog. So let's get to it. Here we go, 2026. So on this Friday morning, I thought I would tell you all how I am feeling and what's going on with my prep. So I did make a change this week of where I am doing 10 to 15-ish minutes of fasted cardio in the morning, but I don't really want to even call it cardio. I just sit on my spin bike desk thing here and I sit on it for 10, 15-ish minutes. I make an Instagram post if I need to, or I do some editing. I have a business project I'm working on with my husband. I maybe spend a few minutes doing that, answering some messages. So it's not cardio, it's just 10 to 15 minutes of fasted movement. So what I do is I take my iWatch, which is now back on my wrist, and I use this foot band, it's elastic, and I put it on my right foot so it measures my steps, quote unquote. So this is between the iWatch being on my wrist and being on my ankle. I am measuring my steps, quote unquote, that way with the broken foot. In my past preps, because spinning is actually my favorite form of cardio, spin classes, Peloton classes, I would never put my iWatch on on my iWatch I put indoor cycle, and then I sit down and get going. So in my past preps, I never put I lost my train of thought. I would never put iWatch on my foot. I would just sort of treat whatever the move cals were from doing spinning in my protocol. I'm doing it a bit differently this time because of the broken foot, so I've had to change the way I track data. Anyway, so I added in this 10 to 15 minutes-ish in the morning of this fasted movement because the scale was starting to get a little bit stuck. I really was hovering at 126 for 10-ish days. It really wasn't moving, and that's really common in contest prep. It's super common that somewhere between weeks 6 and 8, there's the first real getting stuck. And the reason for that is now I've entered the phase of fat loss where my body doesn't want to do it. The first 10-ish pounds usually come off me pretty easily, and that's common for most people that are in relatively good shape that just have a little bit of fat to lose to feel more confident and better. 10-ish, even just sometimes 5 pounds, 5 to 10-ish pounds usually makes people feel great, look great, and with not too much skin off their back. And then what makes bodybuilding contest prep different is going beyond that. And that's where I'm at now. It's finishing week 9 of my contest prep, so it has officially begun. Your body has something called a set point. There's another term that a weight loss PhD doctor uses who studies weight loss. It's called your set point or above point, where that's where your body likes to sit. And my body is, so just to give you guys some context, I'm going to be 39 in 10 days. Yes, I'm almost 39. I'm 5'3". I'm a small person. I'm not big. I know I look so big and jacked on the internet, but I'm not really. If you ever meet me in real life, I'm a lot smaller than you realize. So I'm 5'3". My body naturally sits at 130. That's where it hangs out. I can eat relatively what I want. I never go really crazy with anything. I'm a healthy eater, but I can have a piece of cake. I could do a takeout once a week, minimal cardio, not too many steps, nothing really extra. And I sort of sit around that 130. And that's my set point. I feel my absolute best at 125. So I know that from being on this journey for years now. When I'm at around 125, where I was last week and the week before, my body loves being there. I feel good there. All my body metrics, like my sleep, my readiness score, my Oura ring, my resting heart rate, my HRV, I am just absolutely killing it. Sleep great. I look good, I look fit and in shape. I have a bit of muscle definition. I just love how I look at 125. 125 is honestly my fave spot I sit, and that will change over the years as my muscle continues to mature. Probably will eventually be 126 and then eventually 127. Maybe closer to 130 one day. I'm gonna have to build a lot of muscle to get to that point, but we'll see. Anyway, I love sitting at 125. What I'm trying to say is that's my spot. I am not a naturally lean person. I like to tell people that my natural body type is a mozzarella ball. That's what I look like naturally. I'm sort of round and squishy, and I am not naturally lean. I have to work hard at it. I have to watch what I eat. I have to watch what I do. Like it, I don't want to say it consumes my life, because being healthy is a habit that everybody should adopt, brushing your teeth. So I'm not going to say it consumes my life, but I really have to think about it. I'm not one of those people that can just eat whatever they want, go to the gym once or twice a month and look awesome. That's not me. I have to work for everything that I have. And so what I'm trying to say is 125 is my spot. And when in my off season, when I'm trying to be normal and relax and not a bodybuilder, I get usually around to be between 132, 135. And the reality is those 10 pounds from 125 to 135 are useless. They don't do anything for me, honestly. I don't really like the way I look when I go over 130. I have a pretty bad body dysmorphia about it. That's a side effect of being a bodybuilder. And when I was a coach, I would also tell my clients, the more in shape you get, oftentimes, the worse your body dysmorphia gets, because you know what is possible to look like. And even when you do cuts and bulks, especially like me, a competitive bodybuilder, you can really see the difference in your physique and how you feel in those different looks, right? So I don't really like the way I look over 130. I just accept it because it's part of life, and it's okay, obviously, to look however you need to look or want to look, but I don't love it. So when I'm done bodybuilding, competitive bodybuilding, and chasing criteria of what I need to look like on stage and the calendar year, because bodybuilding is a planning sport. It takes 6 months to get on stage usually to look that way, and it's a short window you compete, and then you're really in a delicate place with your metabolic system after you compete. So it's like a calendar sport, so where you're honestly, it takes up the whole year to be a competitive bodybuilder. And I really only had 2 or 3 months where I wasn't thinking about it too much. So what I'm trying to say is I know where I sit best at, and I know that when I'm done competitive bodybuilding, where I would like to maintain at and my routine to look like, and around 125, that's my jam. I love it there. I love the amount of movement I do. I love my fitness. I love the amount of food that I eat. I just am very comfortable there. So now I'm under 125. I'm in the 124s, and it's starting to suck. I'm not going to complain because this is my sport. I choose to do this. I'm just letting you know that it's not easy. My sleep started to go down this week. My sleep metrics on my Oura Ring and my recovery has started to go down. Man, once I'm under 125, my body is just like, why are we here? Why are we starting to get this lean? We don't like it here. What are you doing? And that's exactly what has happened to me this week. I don't feel bad. I feel fine, but my metrics on my Oura Ring are telling me that things are starting, biomarkers are starting to decline. Because honestly, ladies or whoever's listening, bodies don't like to be this lean. They don't. Like, it's, some body types sit naturally lean and they're fine like that, but most people don't. And it just doesn't feel good. Your body is a little bit stressed because it's not getting the amount of nutrients it wants to be functioning at its best. So that's where I'm at right now. Even though my calories are still pretty high, I probably eat more than the average female still, to be honest with you, even me in contest prep right now. My cardio is still very low. I just brought in this 10 or 15 minutes of the fasted movement in the morning like this. This is gonna eat up the time, so thank you, YouTube. I'm doing 10 to 20 minutes sometimes after my lifts. I did I'm doing a cardio day now where I do a 30-minute cardio activity so I have increased my movement a bit, but not much. By no means is this too much. I really am not doing much at all, and my food is quite high. But I am leaning down because I am in a deficit, and my body does not like being under 125. It just doesn't. So anyway, in the 124s, I am on track to compete with the look I want in March. I will have 2 different looks this year. My look at my spring show, either March or April, because I might not be ready in time for March. The body's going to do what it's going to do. My spring look will be not as lean and a little softer. I'll have a bit more body fat on me than I will in the summer. In the summer, I'm going to be the leanest that I've ever been because that's what's required out of me to be a professional level competitor. So I'm on track. I do feel a little bit behind, but that's the nature of the sport. As you get deeper into the contest prep, you start to always think you're behind. And I am self-coached, so that is another aspect of it that is not great, because the whole point of a contest prep coach is they're monitoring your progress and they know when to pull the different levers in the protocol to keep you marching forward in your cut. And because the body does adapt to what you give it. So contest prep is a constant, slow manipulation of variables to get you to that crazy levels of stage lean that you need to be to compete. So I'm just trying to remain level-headed and not let body dysmorphia overtake my thoughts, and just keep doing what I'm supposed to do. I am making changes. My body composition is changing. The scale has been adjusting. When I finish this little rant here or whatever, I'm going to do a check-in because it's check-in day today. I am PMSing. I'm due to get my cycle in a few days. So I actually hold the most water the week before I get my period. I do feel a little more watery than normal, but honestly, it's important to do check-ins at this point too, because you need to see what you look like at all the phases in your cycle. So I'm just going to make a note that I happen to be PMSing this week. And I'm going to show you guys something so interesting. Not interesting, but maybe obvious to the average person. But let me show you bodybuilding is a sport of calendar management, right? And the schedules are out, and I have already started to map out possible shows and what my season can possibly look like. And in 2025, I did 4 shows and I had period menstrual issues at half of them. So I have to go about my planning this year a little bit differently, because it really did affect the way I looked. Like, one of the shows, I got my period one day out and I looked like 3 sizes bigger than my competition on stage. It was crazy. I looked good on my own, but in the lineup, I just looked like so big and puffy. It was wild. So that was crazy. And then another show, I started to PMS very badly one day out, PMSing very badly on stage. Again, just looked bloated and puffy. And my bikini barely even fit. It was crazy. That last show, it almost even looked like I hadn't even been in contest prep. Like, that's how much water I was holding. Anyway, so I have to go about it differently this year, where I really have to plan for my period. To be honest with you, I don't think I'm still going to have my period by this summer, because I'm going to be competing essentially 5 pounds less than I did in 2025 for the most part. Not that the scale matters, but is a data variable, so that's what I'm shooting for. I'm going to be ready when I'm going to be ready regardless of the weight, but I do know that I have to be leaner, so my weight will be less. So I have to take my period into consideration. So I just want to show you guys like my calendar. So I've got the date of the possible show, and then column 2, my period, my stupid period. So period during peak week, period the next week, and that's in red because I look the worst the week. The period affects my body composition the most the week before the period. No cycle issues, so that would be a good time to compete. A lot of the shows I want to do, I'm going to be getting my period the week of the show. I tend to, by day 2 of my period, I start to look like I don't even have my period. I have the most water retention the few days before day 1 of the period, and then by day 2, I'm sort of already back to normal. So I'm just gonna have to roll with it and see what happens. Here I go. Did you miss me when I was at the gym? Did you miss me? Did you miss me? Hi. Hi, Kiki. Hi, girls. What were you girls doing when I was at the gym? What were you doing? You were hanging out? Hanging out? Say hi to YouTube. Say hi to YouTube. Coco, you're so happy to see me? Coco, you're so happy to see me? Say hi to YouTube, everybody. YouTube.